All right, what is up, my fellow hopium enthusiasts? Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin as it has rocketed to $87,000, so just slightly up from basically the local lows. With that said, we do have things unwinding, right? We've got the Bank of Japan, the carry trade, everyone's very worried about it. So I want to discuss it. I want to discuss my thoughts, what I'm doing. Plus, there is a lot of news that you guys need to be aware of over the last 24 hours. So please pay attention for just 10 minutes. Now, if we jump over to Bitcoin, 87,000 and a few schmeckles of change. It's not looking great, guys. We did go down to 85,000 here. We pushed back up to our wedge pattern here, and we look like we have actually been rejected from the resistance of 88,000. Now, time will tell. We have to wait patiently, but this rejection, right? Basically, if we lose 85 again, it's very likely that we come down to test the liquidity in this region, guys. So it's important that you guys know what you're doing and you know your plan. The most important data for me, the one that I look at for the short term, is the liquidation and leverage data. Okay, so $250 million liquidated in the last 24 hours, basically even kill from the longs and the shorts. Right now, of course, the longs are overtaking the shorts because we're heading down once again. This is just part and parcel of the cryptocurrency moves. If we refresh this, we're going to see that there is about $7.4 billion worth of shorts and $5 billion worth of longs. So again, the longs are piling in here and they are leaving basically liquidity pockets below us. Now, the market is very scared right now, but right now we're in 16. Yesterday we were in 11, and I wanted to do a little theory, right? So as you know, I like to buy the fear, right? That's kind of one of the principles that I've brought over from value investing, essentially, in the stock market. Buy assets, right, that are undervalued when the market is mispricing them. That's what I believe. And I believe Bitcoin is like a value. It's a flight to safety. It's where I want to park some of my net worth. And you may or may not agree with that, but that's my philosophy. That's what's made me a ton of money over the last 8 years in this market. However, when the fear and greed index moves to, a 10 or 11 or below, it's actually quite rare. In the last 5 years, since Bitcoin's top, right? Since Bitcoin's top back here in 21, we've had that happen 40 times. So I was like, okay, what happens if I just buy on those days? And it's very interesting because if you buy on the mass panic days, or if you buy once a month, if you buy once a day, every single day, or if you buy once a year, the difference of average price is only a few percent. You can literally buy on the 1st of January for the last 5 years, and you average a price of Bitcoin around 41,000. If you buy every day that Bitcoin is most panicked, you average a price of around 37,500. The difference is minute, right? And you just remove all of this pain, uncertainty, and doubt that we have to go through. So you have to ask yourself a question. As we're going into the rate hikes from the Bank of Japan, which people think are going to suck liquidity out of the market like we've never seen before, which could lead to a stock market crash, which could lead to people panicking, which will probably lead to more downward momentum for Bitcoin. If that happens, right, you have to decide, what are you going to do? All right, because I believe that this, just like everything else that people consider the end of the financial world, will not be the end. It will be short-lived. It may be a bear market. It may last a few days like the last bear market we had in the S&P 500, or it might last a month, 6 months, even 2 years, right? So what I want to do, right, is I want to learn how these institutions act, and I want to apply that knowledge to things like stocks, potentially now to gold if we get a panic. I don't think we will, but if we get a panic, silver, and I believe Bitcoin and some of the larger cap altcoins, right? XRP, Solana, some of the other ones, depending on whatever you think, but slowly accumulating, right? More money into the things I consider least risky and less money into things that I consider most risky. Right? So that's how I'm looking at it. That's how I'll do this. So we got the BOJ Bank rate hikes that people are scared of. We got Bitcoin losing its short-term uptrend, according to Ted Pillows. If Bitcoin doesn't reclaim soon, a repeat of the November dump could happen. My plan for Bitcoin, right? In the long term is if we drop into this region, this is where I will accumulate more Bitcoin. I averaged another buy between 100 and the low 80s, right? So I average my buy, let's call it 90, right? So as we drop to here, I'm going to start buying again, accumulating Bitcoin. If we go lower, I'll accumulate more Bitcoin, right? That's just the strategy I like to follow with Bitcoin. I actually have my nest egg that I want to hold forever, and then I want to accumulate it in good market environments, right? And then with the S&P 500, if this Bank of Japan carry trade happens and the market panics, I will accumulate good companies. I will accumulate the things that I'm willing to hold 5, 10, 15 years. If you don't think the price will be up from now in 5 years, then don't bother messing around, right? Because that's what this strategy, this is not a short-term strategy. This is a very long-term strategy. And people are like, oh, 5 years. No, I don't have time for that. Guys, investing is not for you if you can't wait 5 years. That's the whole point. Long-term value investing, right, is what makes people significant amounts of money. So focus on increasing your income, having more supplementary income to invest into the assets you believe in. And that's how you are going to differentiate yourself from the rest of the world, the rest of the retail, because retail, they take money they can't afford to lose and they buy a meme coin right now. It goes to zero and they get angry and they say, well, crypto's a scam. Don't be part of that crowd, right? We also have things like President Trump interviewing a pro-crypto Fed governor. Could Trump be doing it all over again? Christopher Waller here for Fed Chair Powell position on Wednesday. Bitcoin-friendly leadership. Again, we already have relatively friendly leadership, guys. Think about it, right? All of Trump's children are sprouting about Bitcoin, right? Trump has created a Bitcoin strategic reserve. It's been around for 12 years. All right. I believe that it will be in 5 years and 10 years part of, the way people feel about gold and silver. If you don't, fair, but I do, right? And I don't think that Trump and his direct descendants would be sprouting on about Bitcoin if their plan, like the general retail rhetoric here right now, is that they just want to dump it all on us. That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me at all. We also have Fed Pat, the chair right now, calling Bitcoin digital gold. So if this does turn out to be an extended bear market, then accumulation of the assets I believe in. And I'm going to keep sprouting this. I'm going to keep telling you guys what I'm doing in this market. I'm fully transparent and I want to keep keeping you guys up to date. That's what I promise for you. So in return, subscribe, hit that like button. And guys, I appreciate every single one of you and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.